It's called the harmony, the wa concept. If I take it from the religious or philosophical or value point of view, you all know that in Japan you have at least two religions and two main religions, and that are Buddhism and Shintoism. And it's fair to say that the Japanese mind has really been shaped by Confucianism. So nobody is a Confucianist if you go to Japan. Either both people would, both religions, Buddhism and Shinto, would describe more than the total population of Japan, by the way, because if you ask the Japanese population is something like 130 million people. I think it's 134, but I've got to check this figure. And if you ask to the people, are you a Buddhist? You would get like 90 million of them saying, yes, we're Buddhist. And if you'd ask, are you a Shinto? Then you would probably get another 90 million answering the same thing. If our mathematics are correct, it goes well over the population. So, that Buddhism and Shintoism have a real capacity in your life to attract any of the Japanese people. And sometimes they think in terms of Shinto, sometimes they think in terms of Buddhism. All that to say that if you add Confucianism to that, we could sum up the main values that you can find in the typical Japanese society in terms of harmony. And harmony would certainly come as the first key value that I would like to emphasize. Harmony, look at the little kanji that you find. The kanji means the Chinese character. The kanji that you have here on the screen means wa, is pronounced wa, and means harmony. If you want to describe in Japan the Japanese way to the Japanese meal, the Japanese food, as opposed to the Western food, you would say wa shoku versus the yo shoku for the Western one. So wa shoku, the wa is there. If you want to describe the Japanese traditional way to dress, you would say wa fuku. If you want to talk about anything that is typical of Japan, you would say wa something, wa yu toka, which would be talking about the Japanese beef, for example. Even the name of Japan in the former ways, you probably have heard this name of Yamato, and Yamato is also pronounced Daiwa, and literally the two kanjis means the country of big harmony. So, really, harmony to describe the human relationship. Harmony to describe the order in society that comes straight from Confucius. The harmony that is necessary to rebuild this country whose geography, whose storms, whose jishin, how do you translate? I'm sorry, earthquakes, whose tsunami are destroying regularly the country. The harmony is an absolute must that has been integrated deep in the Japanese mind. If you look at the kanji itself also, you can see that there are two parts. There is a little square to the right. That's the mouth in Old Chinese as well as in Old Japanese. This square there symbolizes the mouth. And the other one is any sort of cereal, any sort of wheat, corn, or whatever type of cereal. And the harmony, really, if you look at the two parts of this Chinese character, has been giving wheat to every mouth, feeding every mouth. And if you transpose that in the realm of business, in the realm of building a team, you certainly have a nice image here, giving enough food, giving enough respect, giving enough consideration to all the people around the tables and to all the mouths around the table. So, yes, harmony, I would really say, is never-ending subject. And I would say that if you live in Japan and if you work in Japan, you will always have to balance these two notions of efficiency and this notion of respecting harmony, respecting people, which means that their sense of efficiency is sometimes extremely short and sometimes always long-term minded. Their sense of efficiency being built on harmony. We have written a question on this little invitation saying, can an outsider actually experience Japanese harmony when you are working in a very competitive environment? So the question is, yes, our Japanese are probably very harmonious between them. It's a key value in the corporate environment, no doubt. Can a foreigner come in and benefit from this harmony? Can he integrate? And I would say then, same as I described when you arrive in Japan, you arrive in a Japanese corporation, and in most cases, you'd be very welcome. I think the first contact with the people is extremely welcome, and to the point that everybody's trying to help you in the initial steps. Everybody's encouraged you to speaking a couple of words and would really say, oh, fantastic. Then probably the step 2 after a few months gets much more difficult. The step 2 is really the capacity that the foreigners, the Westerners, would have to demonstrate their real willingness to fit into the Japanese business mind.
Laurent,
you could be a manager, you could be in charge. Yeah.
No, I was going to say that because we the sort of the cultural stereotype. Can an outsider fit in? You've got the etiquette, the politeness, the niceness, but beyond that, the stage 2. Does that really work? Does it take a long time? Does it never happen?
It does take a long time. It's this very paradoxical phase where you can see that some people are making a lot of effort and are still, the closer they come or they try to come to the Japanese business habit or to the Japanese communication style, the more they seem to be tested. I wouldn't say rejected, but tested by the Japanese colleagues. And that's very strange. You could even find that when you learn the language. You've taken your first, let's say, 1 or 2 months of Japanese, it could be a year, and you start stammering a few words. You start communicating hard and try to communicate with the Japanese. And rather than saying in the initial steps, oh, great, oh, fantastic, oh, you speak so well, they start saying, no, you shouldn't. Well, let's switch back to English. You shouldn't say things. Oh, and they start to be very picky. And this step 2 is very, very hard because it does require persistency, consistency. If you do that, you go to the step 3, and there it really goes both ways. That's where you would really say after 1 year or 2 years, you have a big disparity in among the foreigners. It could be for the expatriates, or it could be with people working in Japan in a distance. It's either inclusion because you made it, because you kept on with your effort, because you worked really hard in Japanese, you withheld it at some point and dared using it, because you went and drank with the colleagues, because you were very patient. You made it, and you can start feeling a strong sense of inclusion.